We're live!
Ah!
Ah! Way!
Hey!
Whoa! And as always, it's that time where I go and tweet. So, Stephen.
And I need to Phil. Welcome to another episode of the F1 podcast, where we are reviewing the spectacle that was the French Grand Prix.
I knew it was going to be good.
We said it was going to be great.
We said, give it a chance.
I believe I was like, hell yeah, when you were like, let's go French Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think we actually did try to really big it up, didn't we?
But we also did that for every single We did that for Monaco.
So
as
we
well.
didn't we didn't discriminate, is what we're trying to say.
Exactly.
We didn't discriminate.
I hope everyone is doing well. If you're watching this live, hello. If you're watching this not live, hello. Hope you're doing good. Hope you enjoyed the French Grand Prix, or maybe not. If you're a Lewis fan, I guess. But yes, we will be going through our usual rundown through the grid. See all how the different teams and drivers did. Then any thoughts and what not.
Pete can't hack it. He can't hack it. These times are getting out of hand. We're just like, ooh, I tell you what, we're just like F1 fanatics. Surprise! We're here.
We've got
Hello.
our third host on the show. Yeah, you're gonna have to sit up a little bit, mate. Hey-o.
It's not gone well. It's not gone well. He was.
Hello.
That looks dismissive.
Any thoughts on the French Grand Prix, Oscar?
I think that hands it over to you, Stephen. So it's the French GP. Yeah, well, sorry. Basically, obviously, it's a review. We wanted it to be kind of on a Monday, but unfortunately, I have some work this evening, which meant that I tell you
they
what,
are all over the place, aren't they? We had Wednesday afternoon,
Friday.
Oh yeah, last week was Friday.
Friday was like what, 2:00? It was a really random.
Normally,
time.
it's meant to be Mondays 4 or 5.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, that's what we committed to.
No, we're here at Mondays lunchtime.
Yeah, we didn't commit to this.
Hey, JB.
But hello out there. We're here. So watch it live or not live, and we'll talk about some racing on track because the French GP was good. And I've spat on the screen. That's disgusting. That is unbelievable. I was just talking. I got so excited. I just frothed at the mouth and just threw it all over the laptop screen. Here, F1 fanatics, for that unique style of content that you don't really get from any other.
I feel like you should just move on from this.
Content creator.
This moment.
I want them to feel part of this, Stephen. I don't want them to feel like they're missing out anything.
Excellent. What did Pete say?
Totally understand, lads. Try and do the same. Time for an F1 video is always tough, especially when we have jobs outside. The dream is to do this for a living, right, lads?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I feel like the dream, if we're doing this for a living, seems to be an IndyCar rather than F1 right now.
We're going to be moving to the States, so and getting a fixed schedule for the
IndyCar podcast. Will be our job, and this will be our fun hobby to do. Woohoo! French GP review. Should we start?
Yeah. Any opening thoughts from the French Grand Prix? I enjoyed it. It was Hungary Mark III reversal. Uno reversal. It was actually Red Bull who got the strategy.
My initial thoughts, it wasn't shit. Yay.
Come on now. That's all you're giving the French Grand Prix. That's like, it was terrible, but not that terrible.
No. I thought it was positive. I thought that's positive. Saying that it wasn't,
You could say it was good.
It was good.
Is that more positive?
I guess so. I guess it's more positive, but I didn't know that you were the positive police over there. Pew, pew. It's not positive enough about the French. Okay. Right. It was brilliant. It's probably the best French GP in my memory.
Yeah.
Because true. I can't remember many French GPs.
True.
So it was good. And it was Hungary. Mark 3.
Mark 3.
But this time it was slightly different because both second drivers were involved rather than Max Verstappen being sat as a sitting duck going,
one more involved than the other.
Dear. Oh,
but we'll come on to that. Any opening thoughts from JB or Peter?
Peter wants us to cover football. Fanatics Media Company, covering Indy, F1 and football.
Football Fanatics, a channel launching near you.
Look, Arsenal Fan TV cover the hurt of Arsenal fans enough, probably.
Yeah, no one needs an England Fanatics.
It's coming home. It's coming home.
Anyway, let's get into it.
Football's coming home.
To start off, I don't think Katie's here, but we're starting off with Haas. So she'll have to rewind. Gary was great, and that's our Haas report. Mick beats Mazepin again.
Just before we go into this excitement, good comment from JB. I watched the race in two halves. I watched live part up until the top guys just did their pit stops and Verstappen undercut Hamilton. I thought this race was going to be meh. Then arrived back, work, and finished the race off, and I was on a knife edge until the end. And it was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Apart from if you were Haas leading.
Yes, I was going to say, because it was actually wasn't going to happen rather than in Spain. It was.
It's definitely going to happen. Apart from if you were Haas.
I feel like I'm off the screen because Oscar he's still here.
You're too big.
What?
You're too big of a human being. Shall I go off the screen?
Okay.
Hello, Charles Taylor.
Hello. Okay, yeah.
Hello.
Haas. Gary was great. Obviously, Mick Schumacher's engineer. And Katie said that's all we have to say on Haas. Max!
Super Max, super Max. Hello, Helena. How are you from the Netherlands? I hope you've got better weather than here.
It's garbage.
Rain. It's not even a race. I only like rain when there's racing. Anyway, Haas.
Yeah. Sorry, Haas.
We keep on getting derailed.
And there's nothing to say about
No. Mick Schumacher did really well. He qualified 15th.
Yes, okay, qualifying performance.
Because he brought out
good.
a red flag.
I wanted to mention this because we praised Ferrari last week. They changed up their red flag strategy, bringing the guy not on pole to bring out the red flag. And clearly, Ferrari and Haas are technical partners, bit of knowledge sharing.
Yes.
They're like, guys,
absolutely.
If you bring out the red flag, you qualify better. And that's what Haas implemented with Mick Schumacher, qualifying P4.
Yeah, they opted for the Monaco red flag strategy.
He was 14th. But then he didn't participate in Q2, so he went
15th, yes.
Yes. But good job, Mick. It was actually a decent lap.
And then just went backwards in the race.
But that is Haas. He was he had it looked like he had an awful start, but I'm not sure if they went the two-stop strat with Mick, and that's why he's finished above Mazepin.
Did Mazepin spin? I seem to remember him spinning at some point during the weekend.
Well, yeah, he definitely spun during the weekend.
Yeah.
That's like a given.
Yeah. I don't think he spun in the race, so well done.
I wonder if betting companies even take the risk on
will
Mazepin spin, because they're like, this is an instant loss for us.
I don't even think you'll get evens on it. Don't even think you'll get evens on it. Shocker.
So let's move on to Williams with a rather impressive performance from one of them, but Nicholas Latifi. Let's start off with him because there's nothing to say. P18.
He exists.
He exists. Good job. Good job, Nicholas Latifi.
Oh, we'll take a moment here. Foggia Federer is here. You know, the twin brother of Roger Federer. I'm glad Foggia could find the time to be with us today on live stream. So welcome, Foggia. We'll go through your comments in a second. But as always, we sidetrack off a lot of things. So we'll try and get a little bit of momentum in Williams. George Russell.
Thank you.
He did well.
George, yes, P12 in the end. On paper, looks like an incredible performance because I guess it was not just on paper. P12 missed out on the points, but you know that Williams isn't really close to the points.
JB said that Russell said it was probably his best race with Williams ever.
It was great. I presume they went for the early two-stopper. I think because the action was so far at the front, you kind of miss what strategies other people did.
Basically, what you're saying is because it's not like 2020 where it was like Hamilton leading and Bottas disappointing.
And you had to look at everyone else.
Yeah. This year, because there's actually a fight at the front and in the top midfield teams, as always, the back just get
more. But an absolutely fantastic performance from George Russell.
Round of applause for the Russell.
Didn't get points, but putting that Williams in P12, incredible. Alfa Romeo, Kimi Räikkönen P17. The race was gone with Mick Schumacher's red flag because he couldn't qualify, couldn't get a time in. Oscar just punched me. Couldn't get a time in.
Violent
and
fanatics.
Then sat at the back. Didn't do much.
Yeah, with no DNFs as well. Well done, George.
Yeah, fantastic. Giovinazzi, P15. Any thoughts on your hero, your role model?
Oh my God, yes, there were no DNFs. I've just clocked that.
Only the 10th time in F1 history.
I think Kimi was getting peed off at red flags. JB saying Kimi was quite disappointing. I think Kimi just, I don't know, has been a bit of a muchness this season. Where Gio, great qualifying for P13, but he seemed to go backwards at the start and then stayed back.
I've just been kicked now.
Yeah. Stephen's been beat up. Clearly, he's like going, it's my chance to say something. What do you want to say, Oscar?
I gave you your chance. You just looked at me.
Again, he continues to look at Stephen. But yeah, Giovinazzi, Italian Jesus, he outperforms Kimi again.
Yeah, fantastic. But P15, bit of a terrible weekend for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Ferrari. Surprisingly, we've been used to talking about them at the end of the podcast, end of the review. This time, they're our fourth team we're talking about because they had an absolute shocker. P11 for Carlos Sainz and P16 for Charles Leclerc. First double non-points finish of the season, I believe.
There are so many.
I want to put that at, I think.
There are so many things that went wrong with Ferrari strategy. You know, they lived up to their reputation. And I think I did see some things. Will Ferrari strike back from Foggia? Maybe, I don't know, because they were strong on street courses and they haven't really. Oh, well, I think they're more competitive than this. They just got the strategy really wrong. We'll go back
Ferrari
to
strategy?
Crazy, absolutely crazy. Mining Yorkshire, welcome. Just had to watch 2 bloody adverts to get to watch this. Moving up in the world with a sweet YouTube advert I see. Next review coming from a mansion in Monaco. Well, we're in the process of securing the mortgage for the property in Monaco, and
we put an opening offer.
Yeah, you know, it's going from there. Thank you for funding our pockets by using your eyes to observe us. And we just sit here and talk nonsense.
Ben off skipped those adverts as well.
If you skip them, you're dead to me.
I will find you.
I will find you and make you watch them. But yeah, it was a cracking race. Absolutely. I do think Ferrari will bounce back. I think probably the type of pace they've shown in Bahrain. Yeah. I think it was just a blip. Every race has a bad day, and I think this was Ferrari. I almost said McLaren, but this is Ferrari's bad day.
Yeah. Qualifying still fantastically there.
Yeah. Sainz, Leclerc, brilliant. But just
I'm
in
not
the
sure
race,
if they're setting their car up too much for qualifying trim and sacrificing the race trim a bit too much. Because that's what they did in Baku, and they went backwards. And
that's what happened yesterday.
I presume so, because they qualified really well.
Oscar, after beating up Stephen, has finally decided that he is moving. Azair, France wasn't terrible. What a miracle! Absolutely, Azair. Welcome to the chat.
Welcome.
What an entrance.
Is that Ferrari done?
Yeah, bad day at the office. Oscar's our cat, sorry. For those of you who weren't here at the start of the podcast when we showed him, no, Oscar's our imaginary friend. Hello, Oscar.
You can rewind. He made an appearance. He passed over to me to carry on.
Ow, Oscar. No, stop it.
Bloody hell. Okay, that's Ferrari. The pain, if you're a Ferrari fan, the pain should be short-lived, but yesterday was pain. Let's go to...
We have 3 cats.
Alpine. Esteban Ocon, P14. Disappointing day for the
Very disappointing.
Frenchman.
Very disappointing.
In the French
in his
team.
home Grand Prix, he just was nowhere. 11th was okay, but just went backwards. He had nothing in the race. Nothing. Compared to teammate Fernando Alonso. Vamos, Alonso. Hey, P8. Fernando, he's back. Just watch him win every race for the rest of the season and blitz Hamilton and Lewis out the water and win the 2021 Formula One World Championship. Fernando! Does that cover Fernando?
Yeah, okay. Next team.
Next
AlphaTauri. Yuki Tsunoda, P13. Did he been in qualifying or was that in practice? I want to say that was qualifying. Yeah, he'd been in qualifying.
Q3.
That was the first red flag.
Q3 was
Q1.
Q1? Oh, yeah, Q1, because he didn't make it.
Because I think that's what sabotaged Kimi's first run, and then his second run was Mick Schumacher. Recovered to P13 in the end. An okay race. But his teammate, yet again, showing there's pace in that car, coming in P7.
Pierre Gasly! Bonjour! Je m'appelle Pierre!
Having a great home Grand Prix.
Merci.
I know P7 may not seem great,
It just does a great job,
for
doesn't
that
it?
AlphaTauri is actually a great result.
Does a great
Considering
job.
no retirements as well.
And will he be out of the race seat next year? Surely not.
That's what we looked at in the preview.
Surely
You
not.
have to check that out.
Surely not for Pierre. Eh? Peter and Paul, just a quick point back to Alpine Renault. Why does Alpine Renault always take a year to have a decent car and then forget what they've learned at the back end of last season? Vamos, Fernando!
Well, that seems a bit too much analysis on Alpine there,
it's very
Pete.
technical.
I think Mike covered everything that everyone needed to know.
Absolutely. He played some nice overtakes as well, Fernando. Did. We covered AlphaTauri there.
We are coming on to McLaren. They did so well, they come later in the podcast.
Absolutely.
Well
Done, boys.
They're only one team away. We're blasting.
No, we're there.
Us. No.
Oh, no, because Aston Martin.
Double points finish for them. They looked okay.
I'll tell you what. Stroll had a very good race. Because he went deep, but he was back.
Yeah.
There, but managed to make it work. And Vettel, super long
They
stint.
they both went for the super long overcut strap.
If a safety car had come out, they would have had an incredible race.
Yeah.
But he did not. They still had a very strong race. I think 9th and 10th, a lot of people were saying Vettel's mojo looks back. His racecraft looks very good. Superb.
He's loving life at
Vettel was
Aston.
good, and Lance Stroll is maintaining that consistent performance in the partnership. And both of them are doing really well for Aston Martin, considering they do not have the car that they did have underneath them last year.
I wonder where they are in the standings with Vettel's heroics on the streets.
6th.
6th. Pretty goddamn good.
Not bad at all. And they'll probably overtake AlphaTauri if they consistently score, because it's only Gasly really scoring.
There.
6:30 a.m. here in Houston. Well, Tonka Toy Truck, we are glad that you can start your way in the best possible way with Fanatics Racing. No, but thank you very much for joining in and watching.
Welcome.
Loving the long haul stints, absolutely. I mean, I remember that was like Ricardo at Renault last year, wasn't it? He would just
send
do
it long.
Stupid amount of laps on the.
Who says the overcut only works at Monaco?
Stroll had a very underrated drive. I'd agree with that. I think he went under the radar, and he was one of those guys. I just went, "Where'd Stroll come from?" He overtook Ocon, and I was like, "Where'd you go from there?"
And a double points finish on a weekend I don't think they were expecting much from. Very solid return for the team at Aston Martin. And they made the one-stop work, which not many people did.
Right. So do we now get on to Aston Martin? Brilliant. Well done. Maximise the result for the day. Do we now get on for the Moaning Yorkshireman praising the strategic masterclass by McLaren?
Yes, I would say strategic masterclass and also driver brilliance.
Norris nailed it, and
I would say-
Ricciardo is getting better
No,
and
I say
better.
Ricciardo nailed it because did they pit Ricciardo again at the end? Because I swear he did the one-stop strat and came home P6. I think it's an incredible drive from Ricciardo.
It's incredible drive from both of them.
Lando Norris had the favourable strategy, which is why he's finished ahead of Ricciardo. But I think Ricciardo had an equally strong performance as Lando Norris, even though he's finished behind him. Yeah, it was spot on. McLaren went 2-stop with Norris. I swear they only did a 1-stop unless Ricciardo pitted late on, which I don't think he did. But Ricciardo just drove absolutely fantastically to make the early 1-stop strat work. I don't know. It was just, what else to say? It's just fantastic showing from the team and the drivers. And is this the turning point in Ricciardo's McLaren career? Because that is his best performance in the McLaren.
Yep, super.
100%.
He's getting more and more acclimatized, and with Norris and Ricciardo firing on both barrels, pew, 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 McLaren are going to get P3 in the championship. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. Because Ferrari have the unfortunate cog in their team where Sainz and Leclerc can drive absolutely brilliantly and just absolutely stuff it. See, there on F1, IndyCar greater than F1. I'll watch your Indy video after that. Whoa! Well, maybe watch out later in the week for a feature video on Indy Fanatics. That may be the topic of a video. Spoilers! Right. Sorry, catch up things. Aston Martin did well too. You're right, Peter. I think Vettel maybe benefited more from doing a McLaren strategy rather than starting on hards, but Stroll had a blinding race. Brilliant. Tonko on Fantasy 66 in the Fantasy League, 247, 842 after falling asleep during the race. Well done. But no, that's probably because it was late. Let's not say he fell asleep because it was boring. Yeah. It definitely wasn't.
It was late. Yeah.
Defo. Danny Rick is coming! From Peter and Paul. Ocon has become overrated, to be honest. People suddenly think he's amazing because he has beaten a 40-year-old Alonso who has a medal in his jaw 2 years out of the sport. Alonso is getting on top of that car now. Absolutely. Daniel needed a good race. He did. I can't remember what I got in fantasy, but I made it into the top 300. Yeah, boy.
In our league?
Yes.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, not the world. Jeez, I'm catching up, but I've got a load of money in the bank.
Your money is incredible.
Yeah, and then Esteban Ocon went and did me dirty. Unbelievable. What?
Yeah. Any more on McLaren? I was really impressed with Daniel Ricciardo.
I think Ricciardo was brilliant. I thought McLaren as a team were brilliant. Maximising the result, 5th and 6th. Big thumbs up, especially when no retirements are throughout the race.
Not to say I wasn't impressed by Lando Norris, but you kind of just expect that high level from him. And I was just really happy to see Ricciardo banging a really good performance.
What happened to Leclerc? Not really sure. They just kind of stuffed it. Suddenly they were there. Their tyres had nothing. They had absolutely nothing. I think the Ferrari has struggled with tyre degradation this year, and I think it was mainly that.
I think it comes down to their car setup. Do
you guys think Ricciardo would have beaten Norris if they both had the same strategy? Yes.
I think so, because he was beating Lando
on track anyway.
Yeah, before they did the stops.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, they just went split strategy, which is a smart thing to do. Go from there. Nicola, what is going on with Ocon? It's just inconsistency, up and down. But going to be interesting to see how he gets on with the rest of the season. But now, do we talk about Mercedes?
Yeah, shall we just combine all these last 4?
First of all, what you should really ask me is, Mike, why are you wearing black today?
Mike, why are you wearing black today?
You had one line and you mucked it up. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Come on, let's get this right.
Mike, why are you wearing black today?
Because it is finally time to have the funeral for the Hungary strategy, where we leave drivers out, because Red Bull have tried it twice. They couldn't make it work. Now Mercedes have tried it and they couldn't make it work. Guys, you're going to just have to pit. Sorry, you can't stay out. You get caught. And now you've lost a race where they were probably the strongest race car. I would say Mercedes over the course, although Max was quick. But hello, Infinite. What a perfect time to.
So rather than looking at Red Bull and Mercedes individually, I say we look at the number 2s and the number 1s.
Okay.
So Valtteri Bottas ended up finishing P4 in the end. And I will say...
I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah. I don't think this result was his fault, considering with the radio messages we were given, he was the only one of the drivers to go, this is a 2-stop race. And Mercedes was like, copy, carry on with what you're doing. And bam. He tried his best, but the tyres were never going to be with him. And with a charging Max Verstappen, he did make a slight mistake. Yeah, but you can't really blame him.
I completely agree, Infinite. I go, if they pit him, he beats Perez. And they get a podium.
Yeah.
So they've cost themselves a podium and vital points in the Constructors' Championship, because we're starting to see that Perez is up there and he's going to start competing regularly. Now, I think a lot of people are worried about Perez's pace in practice, but it seems like Red Bull are really using Perez and his experience and knowledge now that he's up to speed in the car to kind of run different programs over the course of the weekend so they can get as much data as possible in those practice sessions. But Valtteri Bottas, I did see some criticism still in the way that he defended against Max Verstappen.
Well, as I was just saying, he did make a slight mistake because he ran wide. So he buckled under pressure on the second.
But I think Bottas is just at that stage where he's just fuming.
Well, no, the tyres are gone.
Well, absolutely.
He can't defend.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So he should have just let Max pass.
He put up more of a fight than Lewis did to Max.
Yeah.
At least Boss went into the corner trying to fight it. Lewis let him go before the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think, with Valtteri, that tyre degradation is not his strength. It's not his strength. So when he is saying it's a 2-stop race, I think you've just got to back your guy.
Yeah.
I know Lewis is your guy and you want to maybe use Valtteri for kind of strategy purposes, but come on now. I think you've got to go from there. Honestly, hope those nerds at Brackley have been busy coming up with a decent upgrade package. Yep, because they're probably going to need it. Bottas has shown the exit door, judging by his outburst. I think, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. Have we talked about Mercedes yet? Yeah, we're just getting on it. Bottas not listened to and had the pace to potentially win. He got the 2-stop he asked for. Are Mercedes more bothered about Hamilton than the team itself? Yes, I think it is. But I don't understand that, because as a team, why would you not? I guess publicity-wise, the drivers' ones made a big deal, but everyone knows the constructors in F1.
It's where the money is.
It's where the money is, and it's most important. And it kind of feels stupid because Bottas almost nailed the undercut to get ahead of ahead of Verstappen, didn't he? And then Max Garnett. Yeah, Merck should have. I mean, obviously, we have the benefit of hindsight to go from there. But I just think, bigger picture of things, his strength is not tyre degradation. Why would you not listen to him?
Yeah.
Because if it's even on the cusp of that, because then if Bottas stuffs it up, you just go, Bottas didn't look after his tyres.
Yeah. And the thing is, they told him to stay with Lewis, which was obviously damaging his tyres even more so. So they're like, we want you to go long, but please damage your tyres now.
Yes.
And then at the end, because when Checo overtook, they didn't pit him. You thought they'll pit him and put him on to try to get fast as that. They thought Checo may go a 5-second time penalty for overtaking Bottas, because they thought Checo went wide into, what's that corner called? The high-speed corner, you just go flat through.
Yeah. Don't know what it's called, but it's a high-speed one.
They were hoping for a 5-second penalty.
Interesting one. Bottas will cost Mercedes Constructors' Championship because Perez is better. I'm going to... we've been very harsh on Bottas here. And I love Perez. Okay.
I don't think we've been harsh.
What? Not. We've been firm but fair. Let's go that.
I haven't criticised him at all this podcast. I've been defending him.
You're focusing on the wrong point. I'm about to say here. Right, Perez is better.
Go.
All right. But I think there's only so much you can take as a human being. And it is so clearly quite obvious that Bottas is a nice guy, so he won't fight back like Nico Rosberg did. And Nico already had an established thing on that. But he's so clearly just been beaten into a pulp by Mercedes. You do everything for Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Perez is okay because he's in this first season. He wasn't going to be in F1 without this seat, so he's grateful for it. He knows he can get to podiums. He knows he can secure race wins. He's happy to do his role for the team.
Yeah.
Where Bottas, has just been told and constantly gets abuse every week of like going, it's tough on any human being. They have a breaking point in terms of it. Yes, Bottas certainly could have put in performances better on track. He hasn't been good enough, but also, it's stuff like that in the French GP. It's the stuff where he's having to give Lewis Hamilton the lead in races, that have constantly just beaten him. And I think there's only so much you can do. And Mercedes are now reaping the rewards or kind of suffering for it of the seeds that they sowed from the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can only treat a number two like a number two for so long.
But let's move on to Checo Perez, who had a classic Checo race. He went long, time managed, and made the one-stop work to beat Valtteri Bottas to P3. His, how many podiums is this now? His third this season?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. With Perez, I think he's definitely not one of the quickest drivers we've seen in the past decade of Formula One. You can tell that by his consistent qualifying pace. But what he has nailed, Moaning Yorkshireman brings it up, is he's the master of tyre management.
Yeah.
And in an era of F1 where tyre management has been such a key thing, he's the perfect driver. And he's nailed that skill and refined it. And been brilliant at it. And yet, like you said, another brilliant tyre management race from Checo.
An absolute fantastic drive. And Max is loving it because he finally has a teammate to back him up. Because Checo played the perfect role in, I'm sure, Mercedes, when they were thinking of pulling the trigger of Lewis, they went, oh, wait, Red Bull have another car up here. And they were fearful of Checo. And then by the time they made up their minds, it was probably like, well, now we have to leave Lewis out there.
Yep.
And maybe that's why they left Bottas out there, because Checo was there making the one-stop work.
And why it was better than the Hungaries and why it kept everyone tense and everyone on the edge of the seat is because, Lewis was still finding this pace out there. But, both number twos were in there. Usually it was just either one, as in the case was Max was left to dry, his teammate wasn't there, and Mercedes could afford to have their, second pit stop. But, with Perez there, Bottas there, all the strategies, and they start to overcomplicate things because they start looking at windows and they start not backing drivers. And it's when the race, it's maybe when you can say, it's with racing, it's a team sport in motorsport. All right. And the strategy team gets involved, and sometimes they can be brilliant, like what McLaren did in working out their managements there, obviously in combination with driver ability to execute that plan. Yeah. But also it can be in other ones where, they're wondering about the gaps. They're probably playing cautious, going from there. And in the leaving out situations, they just go, maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's risk. It is difficult, but it makes an interesting race. So we have to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing. You go for the teams. They look at this third Hungary race we've had, strategy wise. You go, don't do this again. But actually, from a fan's perspective, you go, yeah, keep doing this. you can make a bad track of a good race. Which is what we had.
So we'll just, to round off, before we get onto the top guys, Hamilton, Verstappen, we'll just round off the comments here from there. Perez is not better on Infinite, Perez is not a better on pure pace and is very cautious. Money Yorkshire Light said Perez is a master of time management. His overall pace isn't there in comparison to Max, but he's able to put Mercedes under pressure now. He's gelled with the Red Bull as the last two GPs have shown. Yeah, agree. Bottas is more cautious than Perez. Bottas is the worst overtake on the grid and is too scared to overtake cars. Perez has better racecraft and is generally better Sunday driver. I think it's because Perez feels the confidence in the team, where Bottas at Williams, and I think it is hard to kind of forget because Bottas actually was one of the better midfield drivers in the pack. And I didn't ever think of him and look at him and go, "God, that guy's bad at overtaking," as much as he struggles now.
Yeah.
I just think Mercedes don't show Bottas the love.
Yeah.
And I think that hits at your confidence. And then he struggles, and then he knows he's not getting the results. He tenses up. He's not relaxed in the car, and he just, performs badly. He needs to obviously find a way of getting out of that state himself. But I think Mercedes' lack of confidence or building his confidence in Valtteri Bottas is a massive hit there. Was Perez managing tyres at the start of the race, or was he just slow at the start? I think it was managing tyres, I believe, because he went... That? Perez.
Checo said he really struggled with the windy conditions at the start of the race. He said he couldn't control the car for the first 10 or so laps, which is why he dropped off from the front three a little bit.
Yeah, and Infinite bringing up a Bottas positive, literally carried Williams to third in the Constructors in 2016, absolutely. And I think that was it. In 2017, I think he had a pretty good start to Mercedes. He won a few races, but it's been downhill from there. But yes, Tonka Tontra. And to think people used to give Nico Rosberg crap. I mean, Nico Rosberg is one of those guys who is underrated, and he was just a great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy, great for F1. And it's sad that we never did get to see that battle in 2017. But he achieved all he wanted to do in the sport, and it was his decision to make.
He's now
however frustrating
loving life of Extreme E, winning the first two races there with his team. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. Let's start with Lewis. He comes in P2. Took the lead early on after Max screwed it up. Couldn't turn right, so he had to go right off the bollards. And then Lewis got screwed by the undercut because Mercedes didn't realise how strong it was. And then he got screwed by Mercedes again when they left him out and didn't try to back him on the same strat as Max.
I think, Hamilton was brilliant yesterday.
Yeah, he did everything he could have done.
And it shows how good Lewis Hamilton is that it got to the last two laps.
Yeah.
And at stages, you even thought you're like going, Max isn't going to catch him.
Yeah. It was points that he was gaining time on Max.
Yeah. And, absolutely incredible what he was able to achieve. And I think that's why he didn't fight the move at the end, because he just gave everything. And he was like, I can't. But yeah, rare Mercedes, they stuffed Bottas, but as much as they stuffed Bottas, they also stuffed Lewis.
Yeah.
Because Max had made the mistake at the start. Lewis had controlled the race from that point up until the first round of pit stops. But yeah, that undercut from Max, and Red Bull never looked back. They gained the confidence and they got the strategy right. And yeah, really positive. And is that, if Mercedes lose the championship, is it those little kinks in their armour where they haven't quite nailed strategy that'll hurt them in the end?
And I would say, strategy and car setup. Because they keep going into these weekends really struggling to find what their best car is. And it's only because of Lewis Hamilton's quality that he can pull the team together to put in get a good car for qualifying.
Yeah, and it's the frustrating thing, because Mercedes, there's no doubt, turbo hybrid era, they have been absolutely incredible. All right. But it shows back in, I can think, would you say 2018 was the best Ferrari year of them pushing, or was 2017? Those sort of years, but they seem to capitalise well. But This seems to be more of a sustained challenge for Red Bull. This seems to be more of a sustained charge. I think there seems to be a little bit of fear of Lewis. I think he's genuinely. I think he felt he could beat Vettel. He's not sure whether he can beat Max. Obviously, he has to believe it.
Yeah.
He's not going to openly admit that.
But he knows the challenge.
But, there's the little mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like Baku. That move was, if that was Sebastian Vettel or Valtteri Bottas leading the championship, I think he settles for second. Because it's Max Verstappen, I think he goes, oh boy.
I need to win.
I need to really capitalize on, that unfortunate thing that happened to Max. And yeah, Mercedes, it's been a while since they've been seriously pushed and without feeling comfortable to have something in the bag. And they are now doing it. And it's nice to see that Mercedes team push to the brink.
Yeah. See what they're really made of when tested by a Red Bull.
Absolutely. But Max?
Yes, Max. Fastest lap, race winner, driver of the day, your driver of the day? We'll come on to drivers of the day. I shouldn't throw that out there. No, absolutely nailed it. Other than he screwed up the start, which he probably should have been punished long term, but they pulled off the undercut on Lewis, and then they pulled off the undercut on Lewis a second time, and he drove superbly on those mediums to keep tyre life in them and the pace, make the move, bish bash bosh.
Other than obviously that small error, that is the type of performance that says I can push Lewis Hamilton all the way in this championship.
One of his best races, I think.
Absolutely. One of his best drives ever, definitely for sure, because it was close between Red Bull. Obviously, Red Bull had the pace in qualifying.
Yeah.
It was the quicker car there. And Max had a lot of pace come race day.
Yeah.
But Lewis had a much better race car than they did on the qualifying on the Saturday. And, this is one of those ones where it is tight and it is close. It was a sniff of a chance because he still had to execute it perfectly. And it's a bit like when Lewis Hamilton made it look easy from driving those positions because he's such a good driver. Max Verstappen, again, didn't make it look as easy as what Lewis Hamilton has done in the past, but he got the job done.
Yeah.
And he got the race win. And it's all about finishing ahead of Lewis Hamilton in races.
Yeah.
And now it looked like at one stage he might be losing the championship lead to extending the championship lead.
Well, he did, yeah. It doesn't look like that. It was that.
It was that. It was that. But yeah.
That's really all. Rather than just carrying on going about Max, he just spotless.
Drivers of the day, I would say.
Yeah, here we go. Driver of the day.
Max and Lewis. I thought they both were brilliant.
Yeah.
As the championship battle hots up, I think they both were brilliant.
My two would be Max, of course, and I would put Daniel Ricciardo in my top two of driver of the day.
In the midfield, I think Daniel Ricciardo definitely comes into the top three. But I think as the championship battle goes and like supreme levels of performance, I think Lewis and Max were right up there. Right up there. It's always difficult with the rest of the field going. Alonso's performance for P8, actually, for Alpine, I think was a very top performance as well. Then Gasly, P7, keeping that AlphaTauri in the top 10 and holding off. I think Alonso was charging at the end, so very positive from Gasly as well. I think a lot of strong performances at this year's French GP, and it, like JB, I think, said at the start of the comments, it kept it on a knife edge and it kept you on the edge of the seat to the end.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant race.
So even though it doesn't work for the teams, just keep doing it. Screw it. Just make sure it's not as predictable as Spain.
Yeah, that's when it's not.
Hungary, they nailed it. And this race, they nailed it because the overtake came in the last couple of laps.
Absolutely. It
Spain,
kept
they
the
got it
drama
wrong.
going right to the end.
Yeah.
Right to the end, absolutely. But I think that pretty much rounds up the French GP, everyone. Unless you've got
probably it.
anything in the comments that you want to say to us, any more questions of the French GP, any more closing thoughts from you guys in chat. But yeah, that's pretty much about us.
I ain't got anything else. No.
Fortunately, though, for the French GP, it was only the second best race that day.
Because of IndyCar.
I was on such a high from the French GP, and I watched the Road America race, and I was like, how is this even better?
Actually, a note I want to say, though, Lando Norris finished 64 seconds off the lead, and he was obviously P5. And it was all that thing at the start of the season. I felt all the teams were quite close. You had Toto's comment saying, oh, the new regulations are timed badly because the field is coming together. But it's like races like these, you go, the field's not together at all.
No.
There's no one in that fight for third, really.
No. It is literally Red Bull, Mercedes. And it was Ferrari in there, but obviously they stuffed it with their engine. Yeah, glad you don't have to wait long. We got an Austria doubleheader, and Austria is a superb racetrack. So fingers crossed it doesn't work the opposite way, where we have poor races at Austria.
Surely not.
There. But
surely not.
Like we said, the most successful driver at Austria is, I think it was Alain Prost, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
With 3?
Probably. Wasn't it Lauda?
Might be Lauda as well. There might be both of them up there. But it shows when other tracks have got 7 or 8 kind of wins per driver, Austria shows how competitive and good a track it is by having such a low number for the highest race wins from that race. But yeah, glad we don't have to wait too long for the next race. Thank you for joining us in chat. Thank you for being a part of this review. It just makes it that more enjoyable to kind of chat and see the interesting discussions and threads as they come out. If you haven't already, what can they do on the video, Stephen?
They can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
And if you haven't already, smash a thumbs up on that video. We've got 13 people here. There you go. 10 thumbs up. Good stuff. And hey, we believed in the French GP and it delivered. It was an entertaining race. And you know what? All it takes in, I think, races in F1 is this sustained title challenge. It's what we've been missing the last couple of years, a sustained title challenge at the top to Lewis Hamilton, because one, it shows how good Lewis Hamilton is. And I think it's reflecting that because he's doing brilliant in races. And also, you know, it gives the chance of a young talent like Max Verstappen to challenge the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting to go from there. Not bad for a grocery store parking lot. Absolutely.
Hey.
See you later, Azair. See you later, Infinite. Keep up the good work, guys. Made my morning. Cheers. Glad it made your morning. We'll see you later. So for now, UF1 fans, keep racing.